Did Donald Trump pardon NBA Youngboy? Is he a YB fan? Or is it the Mormons? Stop it. We've only had 7 presidents since hip-hop was created, and I doubt George Herbert Walker Bush was a fan. I did Donald Trump pardon Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, and NBA Youngboy.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Cristo. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And I'm back with another video. And y'all feel me today? We got that why with that man Donald J.D. Trump. That man, you feel me? This is why we got Donald Trump and why he loved these rappers. You get what I'm saying? This is about Trap University. You know, Donald Trump loves shouting out these rappers. I don't know why, but you feel me? Hit that other button, hit the subscribe button. Those rest tools down in the description. And let's hop right into the video.
First, what is a White House pardon czar? Well, it's a position created by Donald Trump to have someone oversee, pardons. And the position didn't exist during his first term when he pardoned Kodak and Lil Wayne, but he created it in 2025, and it's actually headed by a woman who Donald Trump pardoned in 2018.
Oh, bruh.
The woman in question was given life without parole for drug trafficking, which is crazy work when we have killers sentenced to less time, but this was in the 90s. And she initially applied for clemency under the Obama administration, but keeping with his track record of what happens when people ask him for a pardon, he said no. He did pardon some people though, but historically, presidential pardons have mostly been granted to people who were convicted of some type of financial crime. Mostly politicians, like taking bribes, wire fraud, false bank statements, a few people convicted of drug offenses, and of course family members. As in Joe Biden's last 20 minutes in office, he pardoned his son, his 2 brothers, and their wives. Now, I know I joked about YB and the Mormons, but it's not like Trump is trying to go after some voter base by granting these pardons. You only get to serve 2 terms as president, only FDR served more.
Yeah, boy.
So he's not doing this to get reelected, because he can't. He could, however, run for, let's say, mayor or even governor of New York, and he may not be popular with some people in New York, but he still is a New Yorker at the end of the day, and there's a lot of New Yorkers that support him, especially in upstate New York, probably. But one thing a politician needs is funding. Now, I don't know how much Lil Pump or Kodak Black can provide, but maybe someone like Ye could provide a substantial donation.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal.
Well, turns out no. I mean, he allegedly is a billionaire, but when he supported Hillary Clinton, he gave her a $2,700 donation. He supported Barack Obama with a huge $1,000 donation, and there is no records to indicate that he ever donated anything to Donald Trump. And honestly, this is probably why someone like Elon Musk is allowed in the White House to work, I guess, but this still doesn't explain anything. Now, Republican or Democrat, it's hard for me to believe that any politician can view an entertainer as anything other than a tool that can be used to gain some type of influence or donation. And honestly, these pardons are just as confusing as Kamala inviting Cardi B to the convention. Who is this for? These candidates already have a voter base. It's not like that's really going to change. The people that vote Democrat are going to vote Democrat no matter who you pay to speak for you. And it's the same with the people that vote Republican. Whether it's pardoning a rapper or deporting immigrants, the people...
Man, it's not that. It's the fact that young folks don't want to look at Donald Trump. We don't want to look at Kamala Harris. We don't want to look at that. So you got to bring someone on board that they want to look at. You get what I'm saying? It's all about getting the votes.
Okay.
They need the young generation to start voting for real. So they need to bring people that they want to look at.
Guy stinks!
Republican are going to vote that way regardless. So it has to be something deeper that we just not seeing on the surface level. Now, YB did state in 2023 that he was going to be baptized into the LDS Church, aka the Mormons, and the Mormons have a lot of money, and they provide funding for projects they like, but most of their influence is mostly centered in Utah. But don't get me wrong, their influence does extend all over the globe, as you can find LDS churches from Serbia to Japan, and many other countries. But YB also stated once that he was going to become Muslim, so we'll come back to this. Now, in the past, Youngboy didn't exactly provide the best publicity for Trump, as he even got involved in a shootout in front of the Trump Tower in Miami back in 2019.
Okay.
He was even saying F Donald Trump back in 2017, so I know DT has probably never listened to this man's music. Although from 2016 to 2017, it was kind of a trend to either diss Donald Trump or support him in music for some reason, as even Kodak Black, before his presidential pardon, also joined this wave and was featured on a song called Spar, which was an actual diss track aimed at Donald Trump. And this was probably just a clout move. I just cannot see a group of rappers actually going in the studio to express their political beliefs to spread some kind of message. This was most likely just for views. But once again, has Trump even heard this song? Anyway, the first real lead I had for an actual reason behind these pardons was a guy named Brett Barish. Now, Barish is the CEO of Sovereign Spirits, which is a wine and spirits company whose corporate headquarters sits on Broadway in Manhattan, about 15 to 20 minutes away from Trump Tower. Now, the White House states that the possibility of Wayne's pardon was brought to the president by Brett Barish, and Brett owns the Boom Boom Rum, I think that's how you say it, and Lil Wayne has had some type of partnership promoting this rum since at least 2018.
Okay.
Which probably contributed to Brett asking Donald Trump to pardon him. Kodak Black's pardon was brought to Trump by a Jewish rabbi and founder of the organization Downtown Jewish out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Another supporter was Bernie Kerik, the former police commissioner of New York City, who was also an ally of Donald Trump. He petitioned for Kodak Black's clemency. And now hold on now. I knew there was going to be some things I couldn't explain, but what the hell does a police commissioner? This is the man that personally oversaw the police response to September 11th. And he was even appointed by George Bush to help govern Iraq after we invaded. And Kodak was supported by many Republicans and Jews, and he kind of did convert to Judaism while in prison, but how do these people know enough about a rapper from Pompano Beach? A skirt? Project Baby? How do these people know enough about him to petition the president for clemency? They claim it's due to Kodak's generosity, like donating $50,000 to small businesses affected by the pandemic in Florida.
Oh, bro.
That's pretty cool. And he also paid for back to school supplies and Christmas gifts for underprivileged children. But one of the other strange endorsements he got was from a guy called Daryl Scott. Now, if you don't know who this is, around the time of Trump's first presidency, this guy, who is from Ohio, randomly popped up in Chicago and announced that he was going to have the gang leaders in Chicago sit down for peace talks.
Boy, if you don't get
Despite having no credibility or sway over anything in the city. And if you're not from Chicago, I'll let you in on a secret. There are no gang leaders. This man was lying from the start, and he never actually got any real meeting done with gang members because, again, there are no gang leaders. Yeah, the FBI has arrested a few people in the past decade that they claim were gang leaders in Chicago, but these were mostly just old men who sold drugs. And since there was a group of them, the FBI called it a gang. Yes, there are small groups of guys in Chicago involved with drug trafficking. Some are even linked to the cartel, but none of these guys are involved in gang wars. It's a myth, in Chicago at least, that gang members are warring over drug territory. Hasn't happened in over 20 years. If some type of conflict like this ever did happen recently, it was a completely isolated incident. The guys running around gangbanging and shooting do not have a leader. As I've said before, there's no such thing in Chicago. So most of the city was pretty confused when this guy came out talking, and pretty much everything he ever said is confusing. But Kerik, the police commissioner, was himself pardoned by Donald Trump for tax fraud, but that still doesn't explain much. One of Youngboy's lawyers, Brittany Barnett, may have been the one to get his request for clemency on the president's desk. Not only does she claim her work resulted in presidential clemency under multiple administrations, but her mother actually served time for a drug offense, similar to Trump's pardon czar, Alice Johnson. Perhaps this contributed most to his pardon. In fact, Barnett even implied that she fought for Alice Johnson's release before her presidential pardon. So I guess that will mean the moral of the story here is to just have a lawyer with good connections.
Yeah, boy.
YB is extremely fortunate that he just so happened to hire a lawyer that worked to free a woman that would eventually be pardoned and hired by Donald Trump. This very specific sequence of events is what I believe attributed to YB's pardon. I don't think it's some kind of conspiracy theory, it's just that things become so lopsided for you once you become wealthy that it can be hard to explain them. But I'm sure this lawyer is very expensive and Youngboy's wealth made her affordable to him. But maybe someone on his team did the same research I did and found out her connections to presidential pardons and Alice Johnson and figured that she would be the best lawyer for him. I'm no genius, so if I was able to find this, I imagine many other people would as well. So no, it wasn't the Mormon. Donald Trump is not a YB fan, I don't think. What it looks like to me, just like with the Kodak case and the Lil Wayne case, is that people working for these rappers or working with these rappers know where to look when they need to find their client a way out of legal trouble, which I imagine is nothing new for wealthy individuals. It's just something us regular people don't understand because we're not in that world, but I had to look because this was one of the strangest updates to come across my screen this year so far. And surprise, surprise, my conclusion is that the answer is money, most likely. I know, right? Who would have seen this coming? Just simply being wealthy could help you get out of legal trouble. Whatever though, right? Everybody makes mistakes and deserves a second chance or third or fourth.
Shut the fuck up!
But that's all I got for today.
Oh man, nah. That's all what it is, man. Networking, bro. Told you, network can save you a lot of things. Network can get you some moolah, dinero. It can get you out of legal trouble, apparently, because if you know someone who knows someone. Bingo! You out of there. Networking is key, but that's literally what this video. Networking, doing what you gotta do. Make it how you bread weddies, because you need bread weddies to do a lot of things. So you feel me? How you bread weddies and network, you're good. Steer, do your healing work, still do all that, but networking, understanding, and moving can better you a lot in life. So you feel me? You better get right now. Better learn. Better grow. Better come better. But you feel me? I conclude the video. It's your boy CristoReacts out. Yeah!
And I need me to do. If I ain't get paid, I ain't doing the show. Shit, I'm finna